today. Nice to have you back. And welcome to Global Schools Lessons. Today, we've had a question, Rafa, and I was really surprised to hear. What was that?
About greeting.
About greeting people.
What's the proper way to greet people?
Okay. Very easy. Watch this. Okay, now, how do I come here and greet you? What do I say? Do I say, how do you do? Wow, we're on YouTube. It's easy going, right? We're all friends here, and I say, hello, how are you? How are you doing? So you see, when, first of all, I'm greeting people, I have to know, am I familiar with them? Are we friendly? Are we on an easygoing level, or are we on a rather, say, cool or professional level? So, let me start out with the professional level. Let's say I am meeting somebody, and you need to help me now. I am meeting somebody I have never met before. I've heard about him. I read in internet about him. I know he's a really, really big daddy. He's a real VIP, right? So, I'm standing there in the lobby, and he's coming straight beeline towards me. And here we go. What do I say? I say, hello. My name is Marie. Nice to meet you. Do I say that? I know he's a VIP. I will reach out and I will say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. Good evening, sir. My name is Marie Williams. He will introduce himself, and most likely he will say, how do you do? And what will be my answer? Will I say, nice to meet you? Yes. I will say, how do you do, sir? Because you know in English, we don't have, like in other languages, a third form to address somebody with respect. So I say, how do you do? If we have talked on the phone before, so we are a little bit familiar, right? And I'm basically expecting him. He will say, my name is Dr. George Bossy Boss. Nice to meet you. Please call me George. I'll say, thank you, sir. My name is Marie Williams. Please call me Marie. And I, as a lady, most likely will say, hello, or how do you do? What do you think? Right. I will say, how do you do, sir? And even though I am not a youngster anymore, and I am a lady, I still pay him that respect and say, sir. If it was other way around, if my VIP was a lady, I would say, how do you do, ma'am? So, this is if I have never met them before in my life. If I talk to them on the phone, I will still be a little bit reserved, show a lot of respect by saying, how do you do, sir? If he says, nice to meet you, Marie, I would say, thank you, sir. Nice to meet you, too. Then I'll leave out the how do you do. Because I basically adjust to my VIP to show him the proper respect and the proper professionality. This, hello, how are you doing? This is only if you're in an easygoing level. In Germany, for instance, a lot of Germans think that you say, how do you do anytime? No. How do you do? Please keep in mind, how do you do is only meant for people you have never ever met personally. have met Mr. VIP, Dr. Super VIP before. I've talked to him on the phone before, and we're meeting for the second time. If I haven't seen him for some time, I go ahead and shake his hand, of course. Even as a lady, I will stand up because he is my super VIP. And it doesn't matter if he's 20, if he's 50, or if he's 80 years old. It's irrelevant. The English conduct, the English etiquette requires that if a VIP, independent of gender, independent of age, enters the room, the other people who are lower in the hierarchy have to stand up. And of course, it is for him to decide who he would like to shake hands with. If he comes to me, of course, I'm standing already because he's just entered the room. And since I have met him before, of course, I say, "How are you today, sir?" And I shake hands. So it's a bit different than in other countries. And some countries believe that this common phrase, ladies first, is not always ladies first. It's higher in hierarchy first. I could give you a little example, for instance, a story that really happened and I was watching on German TV. It was when George W. Bush was still president in the United States, or he just was inaugurated as president, let me say. The German Chancellor, Mrs. Merkel, paid him respect with his visit. So now the cameras were all set up in the White House for Chancellor Merkel to enter the stage, or better, for former President George W. Bush to introduce Merkel to the United States of America as a chancellor, and to show, so they could show each other a little bit of respect. So behind stage there also was a camera, and I was sitting there and I was wondering, why hasn't Chancellor Merkel come to Globus Coast before? Because I swear there was this battle. Here George W. Bush, here Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel was thinking ladies first. And she wanted to march in on stage first. It was not for her to march in, though George W. Bush was marching in too. So they basically were ramming each other before they entered the stage. And Merkel always tried to give, until President George W. Bush eventually gave up and let her go first. Embarrassing for the lady, embarrassing for Germany, because she had never had any intercultural lessons, obviously, because she was thinking the common thing. Ladies first. Well, it's not ladies first. Because George W. Bush was the President of the United States, and in the United States, highest in hierarchy. So he actually was to enter first. But because he didn't want to ram, but just because he didn't want to start battling with the German Chancellor, he just let her go first eventually. So you see, some people think that actually the Anglos and the Americans are so easygoing. Well, yeah, they are very easygoing, but there are a lot of misunderstandings that can occur if you're not informed about Anglo-Saxon conduct. Within this Anglo-Saxon conduct, all Anglos are easygoing because they're very familiar, they're at home with that. And people from other countries quite often do misunderstand that. Just like the how do you do. You only say how do you do to somebody you really have never met before personally. Also in Germany, it is very common to shake hands. Every time I meet you, I will shake hands with you. Basically, the thing is that shaking hands among the Anglo-Saxon world, you only do really when you have never met somebody personally before, or when you say goodbye and you know you haven't seen him in a long time. The same thing, you haven't seen somebody for a very long time, you can shake hands again. But like in Germany, You do it on a daily basis. If you've seen him just a second ago and he left and he came back and you shake hands again. It's a normal procedure in Germany, but never in the Anglo world. So, now, the question arises, of course, well, what if I know people? Well, it's very easy. You have a broad range of, nice to see you again. Hello, how are you today? But make sure if it's in a formal situation that you never would say, hi, how are you doing? How are you doing? You only use for private purpose. So if you want to remain formal and you know the person, you have met this person before, and then you would definitely go ahead and say, oh, nice to see you again. How was your trip to Germany? Or how was your trip to Honolulu? Wherever you're meeting. You know, you can ask for your trip and maybe you know a little bit about his children. Maybe he's shown you some pictures of his family. And how are your children? Is everything fine? And you will hear, yeah, everything fine. What about you? You know, how's the weather in Germany? Or how's the weather from wherever you're from? That is a normal greeting. When you meet Anglo-Saxons, you know. Of course, like here in YouTube, we want to be easygoing. So I say, hi, how are you doing? Because we're easygoing, right? How was your morning? How was your day? Or how have you been? How have you been? Do you think that sounds very formal? You're right. How have you been is a very easygoing question of when you meet somebody. Or how's it going? How's it going? You really use for friends when you see them. You know, usually you see your friends on a rather regular basis, but you know, if you're really close to your friends, then maybe you give it a hug or so even. You know, but it's not very common to hug among Anglo-Saxons unless you're family and unless you're very well acquainted. You're a good friend, so to say. If it's a business friend or a personal friend, it's just a short hug. Rafa, do you have any more questions?
How do you do?
So, if you want to annoy your friend, how do you do? Then go for it. Yeah. With a friend, how are you doing? With a friend, you would say, how are you doing? And how do you do really is just a form of respect that is very formal with a person you have never met before.
What about something I hear very often? What's up?
Ah, now WhatsApp is really American, and personally, I love using it as well with people I'm very familiar with people I like. Hey, what's up, Rafa? You know, it's a common greeting. Just to ask, you know, to like, how are you? It means nothing else but how are you? You know. And so, but it is very American and really for friends and people you get on with.
Very informal, right?
Very informal. Hey, you would never say that to me. Hey, Dr. George W. VIP, what's up? He will look at you. No, what's up really is just meant for friends, really. Okay, anything else?
No.
No. Okay, then we're done for now. I thank you for watching. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, and remember to check our online shop. Thank you very much. See you next time.